What's up, guys? It is Chris back with another watch video, and today we are looking at a brand that I have not featured on my channel before. This is Aerotec. It is their Coral Bay black mother of pearl dial, and it has a Miyota 9000 series movement for a very good price. So I'm going to get right into the watch. It comes in an outer box. It is cardboard box, and then there is an inner box. It's just sort of a leatherette box. And then, of course, you have a watch. You get warranty card. They added a strap here. I'm not sure if that's actually included at the price that this comes in at, which is actually a really good price, so I can't imagine this is included, but maybe it is. The Kickstarter doesn't have a lot of information on their page just yet. However, they do have a website up with some pretty good descriptions of the watches that are currently going to be on that Kickstarter. So you could see this gets a sort of a large minute track, which is a very distinctive sort of feature of the design. And then on the inside of that minute track, you do get indices, which are applied with lume. And then I believe part of that minute track is also lumed. And then you have a bezel with another minute track. And then you have indices on those sort of marking each hour as well. And those are lumed as well. So I believe this should have good lume on here. I have not checked it out just yet. The hands and indices are lumed, and then you get a lumed crown, and they put the lume on the crown in the exact same sort of patinaed lume as they did on the dial and the bezel. So everything matches, which I actually like. A lot of brands don't do that, and I like that they went that route with this watch. It looks really good. Gives it sort of a vintage feel. However, it definitely is a modern looking diver. Also, you get that mother of pearl dial. That mother of pearl dial is a very deep black color, and it doesn't actually pick up very well on this camera. However, I will do close-ups so you guys can see that black mother of pearl in person and in different lights. It looks really, really sharp, really good. And you can see as I move the hands there, you have an applied indice there, applied logo, excuse me, underneath the applied indice at 12 o'clock. And then the hands themselves. The hour hand is sort of like a cathedral hand, a little bit interesting design to it. And then you have a sword hand, sort of a sword hand for the minutes hand. And then you have a lollipop on the second hand. All of that is lume. The counterbalance is in red. That's really the only other color that you're getting here. So you're getting these brown, warmish tones from all the lume. And then you have a black dial with just that little bit of red. And I think it works pretty well. What I find interesting about this watch is you do get polished outer links, which I have not seen on many micro brand divers, and they definitely are one of the few that I have seen. I can't remember of any others. I'm sure there are, but it's not done very often. On the bottom side of the bracelet, it is all brushed. You have a small buckle here. The buckle is your typical micro brand buckle. You only have 3 positions of micro adjust. Definitely some improvement could be made here. Aerotec, it's signed twice, which is really nice, but it's just your typical micro brand buckle. It is milled, nothing too crazy, but it could use a little bit more micro adjust because 3 is kind of on the low side. The back of the watch is stamped, and it is stamped very deeply. Looks really good, and then they have all these little holes that go all the way around. It sort of looks like a porthole. Obviously, you use that to actually open the case back. I'll do a close-up of that. Looks really sharp on here. Not sharp feeling. It looks like a very, very nicely made case back. Bead blasting. You have polishing, brushing. It looks really, really nice. And then you have quick release on the bracelet itself. So you could throw on a strap pretty easily, which is great. And I believe the bracelet, the strap actually comes with quick release as well, and a signed buckle. This is sort of a natural leather suede, very nice strap. I would imagine it would match with this dial very, very well. The date here is at the 6 o'clock. It gets its own little porthole, which is part of the bottom indice. Now, that's something that I haven't seen done before, and I wanted to point that out because I think it looks really good. It definitely stands out a little bit, but it sort of blends in too at the same time. I usually don't like a date, but I think this date works really well. You get a date on this watch because you're getting a Miyota 9015. So that is the date version of the Miyota 9000 series. And this is a 40 millimeter watch, at least that's what they have on their website. 40 millimeters is spot on, is what I'm measuring, 40 millimeters. Get a nice sizable crown, which I mentioned is loomed, 6.3 millimeters. Pretty good for a 40 millimeter watch. You do get male end links. With those male end links, we are measuring in at 51.8 millimeters. Without those male end links, we're measuring it at 47.9 millimeters. And then the case back, including the domed, double dome sapphire crystal, we're getting 13.8 millimeters. A 200 meter dive watch. So pretty good at 13.8. It's just around that wheelhouse where most watches are in that thickness, 13 to 14 millimeters. 200 meters definitely feels about right. Just a nice little presentation of a watch. You get a ceramic bezel, and we'll listen to that bezel action. Decent loom. There's a little bit of wiggle in the bezel itself. I'll ask the owner about that, if they're actually going to be addressing that in the actual production model. Everything lines up. It looks pretty good. It doesn't feel very loose at all. It's just a little bit loose, and the bezel action is very nice, and it sounds really good as well. So that's something that I definitely would check on with them and see if they actually are going to correct that. Other than that, I really do like the style. I like that they put polished on here. The case itself is brushed and polished, and it's the tops that are actually polished, so it sort of matches that bracelet and goes into the bracelet really nicely, as you can see there. And then you have brushing on the sides. The bezel itself is brushed. Then you have a line of bead blasting on the case, and then obviously the case is sort of mixed between all three. Really nice execution. I think they did a really good job, especially considering the price. So the price on this, with the Miyota 9000 series in here and a black mother of pearl dial, is $355 USD. I think it's like $479 Aussie. So that's a really good price considering the amount of watch that you're actually getting. Packaging is actually really nice for that price. $355, $350 depending on the exchange rate, I think is an excellent price. Very quickly, I'm going to throw it on my wrist so you guys can see on my 7.5-inch wrist. Today I am wearing Renbach. This is a Renbach Soyuz 2, their recent upgraded Soyuz. A really cool watch with a piece of rocket booster as a dial. So that dial is actually rocket booster. That paint is what the actual rocket booster was painted. Just a cool watch. And so very quickly, let me throw, I have not sized this, but it is actually sized already to my wrist. There were some extra links in the box. 40 millimeters, just over 13 millimeters thick, just under 14 millimeters thick. I think it looks good. It's a little bit flashier than most of your typical micro brand dive watches because of that extra those extra polished links on the outer edge of the bracelet. So that's actually good because when you're rubbing your desk and you're desk diving, the center links are usually what will scratch first, and the outer links will scratch eventually. However, since they are sort of brushed, or they're brushed, I think they are brushed, and they will actually hold up to scratches a lot longer. So this will give you a little bit longer of a life without having to polish these outer links again. Very nice. It's just a little bit more dressy than your typical diver. I really like what they did with the date wheel, and I'm going to try out the loom. Let's check it out. Hopefully the loom is good here. If the loom is good, I think the only thing that needs to be corrected is maybe that little bit of wiggle in the bezel, but the bezel doesn't really wiggle a lot. It's just a smidge. Could be tightened up just a little bit, I would say. That's it. And then, of course, a little bit more micro adjust in the bracelet would be great, but I think that's pretty typical of a lot of micro brands using this bracelet. This actual buckle. That's just the way it is. And I believe in here we have push pins. So there is push pins in the bracelet as well, but $350. Again, considering the price, that's not that bad. So very quickly, a loom shot, and then we'll wrap up the video. So solid loom here. You can see that the indices are all loomed. All those applied indices are loomed. You get a little loom pip on the second hand, hour and minute hands loomed. And then you get a loomed bezel, and then you also have a loomed crown. So lots of loom all around here. They did a really good job with the loom. $350, $355. Excellent price considering that you're getting a Miyota movement in here. They're going to Kickstarter. That's the Kickstarter price. So I definitely recommend, if you like the look of this watch, and I think it's a pretty good looking watch. Even with the clasp, and even though the bezel is just a smidge loose, I think it's definitely worth that $350. It's a pretty nice watch considering. And I'm not sure if they're giving you an extra strap. It came with an extra strap. I don't know if it actually is coming with that. If it is, this is an absolute steal. Because that's pretty incredible. Even without that, though, for $350, I think it's really good. I think that a lot of brands are sort of targeting brands like Zelos or Zelos, however you want to say it, because they are offering a lot of value, and they are sort of jumping in here and doing the same. A lot of value here for a very nicely made watch. Anyway, tell me what you guys think in the comments below. I want to hear from you guys. What do you think of this watch? What do you think of this brand? I know they've been around for a little while. This is the first brand, the first time I've actually reviewed them on my channel. And I have to say, I'm actually very impressed, especially considering the price. You know, you have a lot of choices out there. And when it comes down to is price versus the specs, most of these watches, when you get into this sort of price range, and it's very important. So definitely something to consider. Anyway, tell me what you guys think. You have a mother of pearl dial on here as well, which I keep on forgetting to mention. That usually costs a little bit more as well, so that's a pretty cool dial. But tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Please also don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that bell icon. It is super helpful for the channel. I very much appreciate it. Please follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is WatchChrisBlog. I have some links in the description. Those links are to Amazon. If you click those links and buy anything, it helps support the channel. It doesn't cost you anything extra. However, I very much appreciate it. Anyway, thank you for logging on. I'll catch you guys in the next video.